All right, excellent. We have next up, as many of you know, Larry Joe Reynolds, who is former RFA president and continuing RFA board member and RFA webmaster. And I've asked Joe to give us all a tour of the resources that are on the RFA website, because there's really a lot of fantastic stuff there. So, all right, Joe, over to you.
Thank you, Tommy. I want to first of all start out, and can everyone see this my screen now? Okay.
Yes.
I want to apologize. Some of you may know that a few weeks ago, part of our actual website sort of crashed. When I wrote this program, I guess I wrote the website current one back in 2012 or somewhere around that, writing with .php, the server no longer handles portions of that. As a matter of fact, they're moving away from all of it. So I'm in the process of trying to get it reestablished. The non-members only section works fine. It's the members only section because of the encryption that I use that's having problems. I just looked right before I went on. I have on the Reynolds Family Association website. Now, these are files, not necessarily pages. In other words, every page, every snippet, every image counts as a file. We have 16,752 files on our website. So it is quite a lengthy process to go in and redo everything. I've tried to keep our Reynolds Family Association up to date, tried to add new things as we got it. It's a basic website geared mainly towards people who come and look at us. We can go to the about, we got our history. We talk about membership in it. We come down, it gives contact information, how to join. We've got a list of all of our officers that is part of the website. We come down to everything from picture albums to volunteers, about the reunion, and then of course join the RFA. Right now, this is not even working. When you go in and fill out the questionnaire and submit it, it will not read that encrypted file. So I've got to get this done very soon. I've talked to a lady. She's a member of the association. I don't know if she's on here today or not, but she's got the Golf Family Association that she's real involved with. They have a nice website. They've got a newer version of this. So I'm working with her developer. He is out of the country at this time and should be back on the 7th. So I'm hoping to get with him and come up with a solution to our problem. I can do it individually. The only problem is I don't want to set every time someone forgets a password, every time someone needs to reset, that they have to email me. I do it and then email them back. I would like a program that does it automatically. So if anyone out there does some sharing or has your own website or knows a solution around that, please let me know. I've got some of the research, our lookups, our queries. I will say that the queries on the website has really slowed down a lot. I try to keep them updated. And if you notice, October, July, they just used to, we got tons of them. Now it's really slowed down. We've talked about the coat of arms today. This is just a sample of the coat of arms we have. I did put a link on here where you can download your own coat of arms, just click on it and save image. So if anybody wants to get the coat of arms, you can get it here. Sorry about that. Talking about someone that's challenged right now. We've got our DNA project here, where it actually takes you to family tree DNA about the Reynolds surname project. A lot of people does not realize that although you join the Reynolds DNA project, that does not make you a member of the Reynolds Family Association. And it's the same with other stuff like our Facebook. You can join our Facebook page, but not be a member of the Reynolds Family Association. The ancestor lines is something Tommy has really been working on. I'm sure he'll talk about that today. And this is the earliest known ancestors here. We would like to get everybody on here. When this started out, we had up to about line, I want to say 30. That was the old families, I call them. Then we started adding new ones. We would like to get everybody on here. And someone had asked earlier about combining. Yes, we do. Years ago, we found my line, for example, which is line 37. When I found other people, their earliest known ancestor was younger than mine, so we combined them into mine. If I was to find right now, for example, William's parents, and they were in another line, we would do away with line 37 and switch everybody over into their line. So we're trying to keep it as up to date as we can. We've got a little lost and found I've started. If someone has something they find, some documents or something that they want to share, this is just some scan letters that we've got. I like to get anything we can on our website. You never know when it may be helpful to someone. This section here is for members only. The only thing I believe that you can do without being a member is you don't have to sign in to pay your dues, annual dues. But everything else, and on here, we've got our newsletters, for example. Like I said, if you click on it, you will have to log in to do it. So when you go over here to the dispatch newsletters, we've got them, everyone since I started this, and I started except back in 2013. In 2012, we had a portion of it. Gary Reynolds contacted me, I believe it was in 2010, and asked me if I would consider taking over as president of the RFA. It had sort of died out. I had been a member for years before that, doing a different website. So when I joined, we started the newsletter back up. It had actually dropped off. Before the dispatch, we had Reynolds Recollections. And these newsletters was all the way up from 83. This is when the newsletters themselves first started. I do have every newsletter the Reynolds Family Association has ever published. All are online now. And people, there is a wealth of information in these. There are a lot of different formats, a lot of stuff in here. Like I said, obituaries, we got funeral records, we've got birth, death, people just submitted all kind of stuff. So there is plenty of information here to look at. Before the newsletters, we had what we call the annuals. These RFA annual reports was actually put out once a year at the reunions. If you notice, I've got all the annuals back to 1899. And these are all in PDF format. And this is the complete annual that was put out. I've been very fortunate to get a hold of these books. I worked for years, actually, getting the information and finally finding everything to get them all online. But every year there's an annual put out. Some of them did combine. One of the later ones, and this was a few years combined, but it is just totally a wealth of information in here about the Reynolds families, people, places, dates. I've had people write me that they found their brick wall solved totally here. Jim, I find it real interesting. You was talking about you couldn't find or get your brick wall knocked down. My grandmother was very similar. I knew where her most distant ancestor was. It was a very prominent family. What I found out after about 12 years of research was that he had changed his name when he came to America. And I don't mean changed it a little bit. His name was Hopper when he was in Germany. And from Germany, he came over here and he changed it to Kilpatrick. And how he got that, I don't know. And I still don't know why he changed it. The guy who really did the most of the research told me, said he thinks there was some kind of problem with the law. And when he came here, he just totally changed everything. But he was a very prominent individual. He was not a millionaire, but he was well-to-do. And the guy that's doing the research said he's fairly sure he probably robbed a bank or stole the money and came to America. But it is, God only knows how many ways you can do it. I do have in this here some family histories. These are some short things. There are some long things. I don't remember right offhand. I would be willing to put anybody's on here. Some of these are just sort of handwritten. Some this one's a fairly lengthy one, but it's family histories that I've dug up from different places.
I want to, excuse me, Joe, I want to note on this particular page, this list includes at least one, maybe two contemporary, like professional genealogy research that was commissioned by members currently, conducted by professional researchers and shared with the permission of the customer and the genealogist, and is here on this list. That particular line is right there at the top of this list. But yeah, great stuff here.
We've got family stories. This is a little bit different. this is some, and it's even got a place where you can listen to it. I started this as a thing, it's a program that I've subscribed to, a short file I can take, copy it, paste it, actually get it put to voice, so that if you want to listen to a story instead of reading it, you can do that. I'm working on them in my spare time, and hopefully to get all of them. A lot of these are my family and little family stories that came up in mine. I do have others, so please, at any time anybody's got something they want to share, I'd love to have it. I've got not as much vital records as I'd like. However, nowadays, most of this stuff here you can get online anyways. Obituaries, we've got quite a few. You can run through these, and these are basically what people have actually submitted to me. So it's just obituaries there. Another thing that electronic books. Now these are some very lengthy books. Some of these, well, a couple of them here. For example, Reynolds family of Connecticut here. These were Reynolds Family Association books. These books was presented by the Reynolds Family Association, for the Reynolds Family Association, and some very, very interesting reading. Even if it's not your family, I think you would really enjoy a lot of this. Again, I would love if anybody's got a book they want to share. Believe it or not, we've also even got the Centennial collection on here.
Larry, could I ask a question?
Sure.
So right now I'm working on an ebook, electronic book of my line of the Reynolds family, and I work on a Mac and I use a Reunion software. And as part of that software, they have the capability of creating an electronic book.
Right.
And so when I'm finished with it, one of the locations that I would like to place the book is at the New England Historic and Genealogical Society in Boston. And they're very willing to accept electronic books.
Right.
Is this something, would there be a compatibility issue if I send a copy to the Reynolds Family Association for reference? Is there any problem that you can anticipate in terms of compatibility? It's effectively a PDF file, so it should be
Right.
viewed on any machine.
I've got a bunch of them online. I've got a couple, I think, that actually, instead of having them online, it's a link.
Yeah.
Now these, I don't remember which one, but a couple of them were links to someone. Let's see if this one is. No, this one. But all of these I actually have they're online here. But I do have a couple that's links. One of them's to the New England Genealogical Society.
Okay.
We just linked to their webpage instead of having it here. But no, I would love to have it. Anything at all I can get for here,
Okay.
I like adding to it. Like I said, this here is, I have it on a website now that is stored. It's also backed up daily. Also, everything that is on their website, I have on an external hard drive on my computer. So it's there. The Reynolds Family Association for years all of their records went to the secretary. When a secretary left, a new one was hired, I say, we pay them very well. They make just about, well, matter of fact, they do make the same amount of money I do. And you do. But anyways, they kept the books. We've got to the point where it just got too many. A lot of them got lost because secretaries quitting or dying, and no one got the information forwarded. Our first one, our current secretary, or she's now vice president, Debbie Jones, when she took over, Ern Reynolds, I believe it was, drove his van down to the state where the old secretary was, loaded up box after box after box. We took them up to Debbie's. I went up to Debbie's. I live in Texas. She's up in New England. We got together, but we finally decided the best thing to do would be to give these to a prominent library, like the New England library. We did that. A few years later, and I don't know if Connie is on today or not, but one of our board of directors, Connie Davis, decided she wanted to go up and look at something in there that we had. She went up and started looking through the library. She finally got a hold of someone, and they said, "Oh, yes, we have that whole collection." She said, "Well, I couldn't find it here." "Oh, no, it's in storage." So they have the books, they have all of our information, but it's all still in the same boxes we transported them up in storage. So unfortunately, it's not doing anyone any good. And that's why I decided when I took over this website, I was going to try to put everything online. And that way, hopefully when I'm gone, someone else will take over and run it. If Nancy's on here, you asked me the other day about a backup. God, I wished I had one. I would love to have someone who knows something about web design that could help me out. I'm getting old, I'll be the first to admit it. And you can never tell how long I'm gonna be around.
Hey, Joe, I have experience with it. I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes. But yeah, we just need to make sure that stuff continues on. The RFA is an old organization, like Tommy said earlier, back from 1892, when they family got together and started this thing up. Marion Reynolds, who published the book starting out, he probably helped generate as much, if not more than anyone. But like I said, it's all in books, and books are wonderful, but you've got to have the books. I used to send newsletters that I do to, I would send newsletters to libraries. I still send them, I think, to 9 different libraries that I have. I don't know that they actually put the information online or not. I know they used to, but things change. And
that's part of why it's really important to have this all online and accessible to our membership. And yes, having folks capable of managing the website, even if you aren't here, Joe, yeah, that's critical.
Yes, so we've got to have it. And like I said, we do have our own little YouTube channel, you might say. Matter of fact, these were from the reunion we held a few years ago. I don't know when it was even, but I'm always wanting to get more stuff on here.
The videos look like they're from the Virginia conference.
Yeah, they were. So it's a couple of things on the DNA and everything. Our Facebook page, of course, like I said, the problem with Facebook is we've got a lot of members who join our Facebook page, but they're not actual members. Now, many are, but
I see it as a
right now, I'm
gateway or
only
as a
allowing-
marketing opportunity to lure folks in to the actual association. I post recruitments there. I guess it's
Oh,
been
yes.
a while, but to say, hey, you can actually join RFA by doing X, Y, and Z.
And this is one thing we need to do because our members only website, and like I said, this, if you look at it, there is so much information on there that, you know, it's just almost impossible to track. That is only available to members. And I'm talking about paid members, you know. So I have quite often people, I can't get into this site, and I tried to sign up. Well, you got to be a paid member to do that, you know. But it does work. I'd like to start opening up right now for questions about the website. And I do apologize. Right now, one of the things we've got is if you go to log in, once you log in, you can come down here and there's a members only section of the website here. This is what is having the problems right now. In other words, if you click what's new, you'll get an error message, cannot open. Some of the stuff is still there, but most of this just is not compatible with their new server. So I've got to get this done. Now, the question that we come up with is once we get this, what do we put? In other words, right now I've got GEDCOMs. If you've got a GEDCOM of your family and you want your family's history on here, I can put it on here. What my first envision was is that we would have it by lines. In other words, if you want to have, for example, line 37, everybody's doing line 37, the line coordinator should combine all of those family histories, even if you can't connect them, because a lot of times you can prove you're with a particular line with the DNA test, you just can't find that common ancestor to get the two combined. But if you got all of your lines on there, if someone joined and said, okay, well, I think I'm from Robert Sarah's line, then you can go to this, go to that line and start working on that particular thing. But this is a great source here. We just need to sort of determine, and I thought when we have to get the new system online here, hopefully within the next week or so, that we can decide what we're going to have on here. If we're going to have individual GEDCOMs from anybody who's sent it in, or if we'll have it by line, or what we'll have.
Larry,
Anybody got any questions right now?
Larry, I was on the RFA website yesterday and to renew my membership, and everything went okay, except when I got into the page where they asked you to fill out your information, name, address, that sort of thing. Well, I started that out and it automatically filled everything. Then I said, okay, go ahead and pay. It wiped out everything and I was right back to the beginning. And so I tried that 3 times. And
I'm hoping to get that fixed the next day.
What I wanted to point out for the benefit of everybody else is that what worked then is that when it started asking me for name and address, literally type all of that
Type it.
information in.
Yeah.
Don't go with the automatic thing. Just type it all in, and then I was able to pay the dues.
Yeah, it's I don't know why. I mean, they call it an upgrade to their system, but it sure did mess up a bunch of stuff. And I am serious, with 16,000 files online, it's hard to get in and troubleshoot every single thing and come up with everything. One of the things I was talking about, the stories, I told you I have some of them there that's put to the voice so you can read them and actually hear the story instead of having to read the whole thing. One other day, it switched it for some reason to a different person. So, you click on that story and it was somebody else's story being read to you. But hopefully we'll get that worked out here real shortly. I hope so.
Joe, this
Yes.
is Nancy.
Hi,
Nancy. Hi. From Alaska. Hi, everybody. I just wondered, is it searchable? Can I put in my ancestor's name, and would it maybe flag people with that name on?
It used to would. Right now, if you go in and you search, and I'm gonna put in my William Reynolds. Matter of fact, I'll just go and type mine. And you get the error message, cannot open this such and such file. Again, that's a problem with it. Now, again, if it's a common name like William, even before, I think there was something like 37 different Williams in this database. So you had to go through them all individually to come up with what you had. But hopefully, again, that's going to be fixed in the next week or so. I can't guarantee it. If I have to go to the old way, I don't know what we're going to do. I can do it individually like I used to do files. But what that amounts to is if you want to have a username and password, you go in, you fill out the form, you click submit. Instead of it assigning you one, it sends an email to me giving me the information you just did. I go into a website to encrypt your information. It's a 32-bit military encryption. It encrypts it. I upload it to the website. Then I sit down and send you an email stating it has been approved at this username and this password. And I have to do that for every individual. Every time you forget a password, you have to fill out a form. It'll manually send it to me. I'll get an email. I have to go in, download the file from off the internet, go in, reset everything, re-upload it to the internet, then send you an email. It's just very, very time consuming and a lot of work. And it's where you have to almost stay at your computer 24 hours a day to get good service. But if that's what I have to do, that's what I'll have to do. We will get it done. It's just a matter of if I can do it better. I did have a guy who gave me a proposal. I believe it was Monday. I met with him on Zoom. We had a real nice talk. He showed me everything he could do. It was a lot more than what we needed. He does it for several banks there around California and so forth. Wonderful thing. Then he told me it'd be about $9,000 a year, and I told him, forget it. We don't need that much. But I'm still working. The lady the other day, this guy that I'm waiting on to contact me on the 7th, His price was about $450 to get everything done. You know, if I could do that, that'd be fine, but we're not rich. You know, we don't charge big dues. I listened to Dan talk about the DAR. I'm a member of the SAR. I'm a member of the Descendants of Mexican Veterans. I'm a member of the Sons of the Union Veterans. I'm a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm a member of the Military Order of Stars and Bars, Descendants of Confederate Veterans, a bunch of other stuff. But, you know, everybody's dues have went up tremendously in the last few years. My Masonic dues right now for my Mason's Lodge is $300 a year. You know, Reynolds Family Association is $20 a year. So there's a big difference. And we've cut down our cost. Our big cost used to be the newsletters. It took quite a bit of money to print these and mail them. And now that we went to an electronic newsletter, that's really saved us. So we're not looking to make money, but we've got to survive. I don't want to raise dues. I don't think we have to raise dues. I would not recommend we raise dues, but at the same time, we do have cost. Has anyone got suggestions for what we could have on the website that we don't have now?
Well, one
I'm
thing.
always open for new stuff.
Yeah, and I could talk with you, Joe. It's like I actually work for Adobe, so you know, we design websites all the time. So but it's really just kind of integrating it with the members, and I know Tommy, you're talking about, you know, marketing and trying to get more members and stuff like that in there too. So, and we also can kind of connect to other websites as well, right? So there's a lot of people that have a lot of Reynolds information out there, like sources like Ancestry, Family Search, you know, all these different organizations. So maybe even trying to tie into those as well, and kind of to the point, make it searchable. I think that you know, JEDCOM, you know, kind of works, but you know, there's also other, you know, different ways that we can kind of link things together. So I love the idea of electronicizing the books. The only way to keep old records forever is to copy and electronicize it. So really appreciate all that. So
Yeah, I wanted to tell Jim he needs to get him a big scanner and sit down with that cabinet he's got and start getting all of those things on file.
yeah.
Because there is a wealth of information there, but you never know. I almost cried a few years ago, back when I was in the workforce. I had one of my employees came to me, and he had to take some time off. He said his grandmother had just passed, and he was the only one left to take care of her stuff, and he had to go up and get everything closed up and close up the house. When he got back, we was in the break room talking, and he said he can't understand these blankety blank people. He said in her attic, said she had 9 trunks full of pictures and letters and all that. I asked him, I said, what'd you do with it? He said, I burned all of them. I said, I didn't know any of those people. And I'm just thinking about, you know, what some family member would have given to had all those trunks of letters and pictures. But, you know, hindsight is always good. We've got to come up with a way. And like I said, right now, I'm not a professional webmaster. I will willingly admit that. And I'm always looking for ideas and always looking for ways and make it simpler and easier. But we do have to get the information out here. And the more we can get on here, the better. I'm just really disappointed. I've got a lot of different surnames in my family with my mothers and grandmothers and all this. And Reynolds is the only association that I know of that's online. There's 2 or 3 other families that have the associations, but none of them have a website. And It's just amazing. A lot of times I will just do searches for family websites to try to get some ideas of what they've got online that we could put online. And believe it or not, there's just fewer and fewer. I know that.
Well, and
family
Joe, it's
search-
thanks to you that RFA does have a website. So-
Well,
And,
but
and
still.
it's central for keeping all of our stuff together and making it accessible to our members and future members, etc. Absolutely.
Well, I know it is, but like I said, after a while, I'm afraid even with our members, I think they forget about it because there's nothing new going on there.
There's a
We
lot
don't
of
have
stuff.
that much stuff going. I don't have, it's just like the newsletter. I've been doing the newsletter, have no problem with doing the newsletter, but it gets hard to keep coming up with information. I like for members, Diane had a wonderful story on Nathaniel. We could put some of that in our newsletter. We could have his story on our website. But we've got to get our members to start contributing and helping out. You never know who you might help.
Yep.
You're talking about finding people. My wife passed away a few years ago. I remarried, and the wife I married back in 2011, she'll kill me, had an adopted son. Well, it just so happened when we were looking through the stuff, I found his original marriage license or birth certificate. So I'm being a genealogy guy, started looking, and I found his family tree. Got him a DNA test. He was thrilled, but he's really thrilled when he found out that he's got a sister that he never knew about.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
He made contact with her. He lives in upper state New York. She lives in Louisiana. But he drove down. She's only 13 years old right now. Her mother and father are dead. She's living with an aunt, and the aunt's bad shape, and it looks like he may wind up adopting her. And so I think that would be just great, But you never know what can lead to information. And just finding that one document, has really opened up a whole world for him. But we need to get this stuff documented and online.
Yep.
But Tommy, I'm
agree,
sorry,
Joe,
that's
and
about all the information I've got.
yeah, I agree. Joe, thank you for the presentation. Thank you.
Oh, no
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you for maintaining, setting up and running our website. It's really, really important, and we all really appreciate that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So thank you. We'll transition now to our next session. And if you want to end the recording,